Run when you hear that. You better run when you hear that.
Yo, crank that volume, turn it way up. Get your weapon, get your blade out. Damage, then you gon' pay up. Yo, crank that volume, turn it way up. Get your weapon, get your blade out. Damage, then you gon' pay up.
Yo, crank that volume, turn it way up. Get your weapon, get your blade out. Damage, then you gon' pay up. Turn it way up.
Crank that volume, turn it way up, way up. Crank that volume, turn it way up, way up. Yo, crank that volume, turn it way up, way up. Put your hands, put your city, put your fans, put your state up.
Yeah, look, I ain't about to tell you twice. We on different levels and you better get the balance right. We not eye to eye, we are not alike. You couldn't even be me in another life. Don't hit me on my phone, yeah, I get back when I'm posted. They wanna blackmail cause they see I'm going posted. I've been at the top since I came over. I've been in control, yeah, it's game over. Born great, no, I ain't asked for it. Chasing the throne, I'm coming back for it. I never quit, fading the black for it. see the numbers, I'ma run it up again. I can take it over when I want to, cause I can. Ain't nothing left, I had to get right. We ain't worried about no critics all on this show. I've been at the top since I came over. I've been in control, yeah, it's game over. Born great, no, I ain't asked for it. Chasing the throne, I'm coming back for it. I never quit, fading the black for it. Never hang it up, I need a black for it. Right or wrong?
1, 2, 3.
What is up, all you fine folks out there in North Central Ohio, Facebook, YouTube land, anywhere around the world? Welcome into this new episode, live and free, of the OH.Report video podcast. I am Travis Big League Berardi, the only one in studio. Brian out on assignment. Hayden Gray, well, you know where Hayden went. He's off that dusty trail doing something with his new job. But nonetheless, I'm here by myself running the show today, but it's going to be a great show. On today's show, we have a discussion with Mark Connell, a doctor of physical therapy at Knox Community Hospital. We're going to talk about concussions. This is this should be a good conversation we have. I have a lot of questions, especially, if you have any kids or if you are a kid out there playing sports. Just you might want to just listen closely to this and learn yourself about concussions and what goes on with that. Also, good friend of the show, Blade Tackett, will be here, the Norhtmor Golden Knights. He's going to check in. His summer basketball is in full force. It's crazy. Baseball just finishes, but there's always, you have soccer, you have football camps, 7-on-7s, also basketball camps going on. We'll talk more about that. Our own Madeline Zazzuto will give us some community events around the area, some physical fitness community events per se in the next couple of weeks. We will also wrap up the spring sports season and relive also the alumni softball game down at Hillsdale as a part of it as well. Took on Taylor Morgan once again. We have that video. We'll show that to you in a little bit. And also, it is an anniversary, a great anniversary. We'll get to that in a moment. But I want to also welcome in our producer, Adam Thompson. Yesterday, Father's Day, Adam got to experience Father's Day. How was that for you, sir?
I'm pretty sure my family's planning on eating me soon. I felt like they were just, here, can this fit in there? Here you go, Dad. It was great. This was my first Father's Day with a 1-year-old. So my little one that's helping me celebrate today was a little bit more involved. And we had a really good time. Just kind of hung out all day. It was a lazy day. And I'm getting older, so we went and had some lunch at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon to beat the rush. They fattened me up again, and then they just wheeled me home like Violet from Willy Wonka, and they let me just juice. It was great. The older she gets, the more fun it is.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just a really good time. So it's only my second Father's Day, but it's been the best one ever.
And that's going to continue to be the best one ever. They always say Mother's Day, you're supposed to just, let mom have the day off and stuff. And then for the Father's Day, yeah, we'll take you out to dinner, but you still, fathers want to work and whatnot. But I'm glad that you got to do your thing, Adam, be with the family. They took you out. They fed you. They let you nap and stuff. But I'm happy that you were able to experience that. And I hope everybody out there had a great Father's Day. Also, something that happened on Father's Day, which is 7 years ago from this day, the term the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead happened. Yes, the Cavs, 7 years ago. It's crazy it's been that long. LeBron James brought a championship back to the city of Cleveland. Myself, Brian Skoronski, when we were working for that other place down the road in Ontario, we actually had a chance to cover not only the Game 7 watch party, but we were outside of Game 6. This is what happened, though, after the Cavs won Game 7, and it was crazy. We had Jay Jackman, who worked with us over there, was holding the light. Anytime he turned that light on, it was like moths to the light. You see all these Cavs fans. At first, you could see my face. I was freaking out. I was only in my second month over there. And after I realized that they just swarmed over just to be on camera and everybody was happy and hugging, it was a great time. That's something Brian's really remembers. We bring it up every year. It's on our Facebook feeds all the time. But that was just something unlike nothing you have experienced. A city that has not had a championship in forever. Just a collective, and just the way that the Cavs came back to win it. You just see it right there. Everybody is so pumped. We had a chance. We were in the watch party for Game 7 inside the Q, despite it being over in San Francisco, but the place was packed. We were actually by a father and son, and they just the father wept, the son. They were just embracing each other after that game, and there was a lot of people there. It was great to see just the love out there. There was people honking their horns out their windows, driving down. And I think the funniest part was Brian and I, as we were walking to this, there was a bunch of bicycle cops. They weren't doing anything, though. They were just sitting there smiling and taking it all in, because it was chaos, but it was kind of a safe chaos that was going on out there. And that was just a very, very fun memory. And I can't believe it's already been 7 years. We also were able to go to the parade. Brian and I LeBron's car stopped right in front of us, but his posse of about 20 bodyguards would not let us talk to him. But yeah, it was one of my first and greatest memories of being a sports commentator and sports producer up here in North Central Ohio. It was a great time. Speaking of great times, as you saw live and free on the OH.Report on Friday evening, the Hillsdale alumni softball game went off. And it was for a good cause. We raised a lot of money for their scholarship, the Wayne Hawks Scholarship. And I took on Taylor Morgan for the second time. I struck out in 4 pitches last year. Well, this is what transpired this time. So as you can see, I took the first 2 pitches, they were low. And that was a good thing, because I started to try and time up how she was. A couple easy ones for me, and then it kind of went away. As you can see, I'm stepping out of the box. If I'm stepping straight towards her, maybe I make contact. But as you can see on this terrible swing, I almost Bugs Bunnied this into the ground. Yeah, that was just a terrible, terrible whiff. You can even see by the reaction of my face down at the bottom corner. That was just not that good of a pitch. Here's the 2-ball, 1-strike pitch, and again, I just stepped out. That was not a great pitch for me to swing at. It's actually low again, but I still wanted to try and knock it out. This time, I actually do get a piece of it, and that was the second time I fouled off a Taylor Morgan pitch. Gave me a little confidence. I had it timed up this time, but still, I'm stepping out of the box. If I'm stepping straight ahead, I think I'm able to hit the second-team All-Ohioan from this year. Yeah, that's also more. Taylor actually accidentally hit somebody earlier, so I was afraid. But then she throws one inside, and I absolutely rip it. But Lily Amend comes in and makes a great catch, robs me. However, the Bishop Donahue grad, I made contact this year, so I am not that disappointed. However, Taylor Morgan, who's going to the University of Findlay to play, nothing but the best for her. And then the softball game was great as well. 6-3. The alumni knocking off Hillsdale in this one. It was a great game. Next, you saw Sydney Long, the state champion from a few years ago, thrown out there. Taylor Morgan pitched as well. It was just a fun time all around. I got to play in the outfield with the team for a little bit, mic'd up. But if you want to watch that, you can watch it any time. They had a pie raffle as well that made about $1,000. They had a silent auction that raised some good money. So next year's winner, a senior from next season, will be able to get that. Taylor Morgan won last year's scholarship money, so congratulations to her as that, so she can pay for her room and board at Findlay. But a great time all around. All right, now let's get to a bit of a more serious conversation here on the OH.Report video podcast. Our first guest is a doctor of physical therapy at Knox Community Hospital. His name is Mark Connell, and today we're going to have a bit of a discussion about concussions. Mark, thank you for joining us today. Glad to have you on here. Can you hear us, Mark? Having a bit of audio difficulties here. So he's going to try and call us back, get everything set up. But we're going to have a discussion about just concussions all around. Can you hear us, Mark? Not yet. But as a high school athlete in the early 2000s, you know, we saw the movie Concussion that came out, really brought things back to the limelight about, you know, what, you know, some hard hits on the sports, not even football, but soccer pitch, baseball, basketball, what even a small collision could do to the brain, and just what has gone on over the last few years awareness-wise, and just the research they did is really, it's really brought into the limelight what could happen to these athletes, especially these young athletes out there, you know, going all at it. I mean, these are kids that want to win a state championship. They want to, you know, get a scholarship, so they're going to go 110% there. Hopefully we can get Mark in here.
Yeah, I'm good.
Hey, there we go, Mark.
I can hear you.
Thank you for joining us today. This is actually a discussion that I've wanted to have with a specialist here. I played sports in the early 2000s and took a couple of, you know, I guess little dings and got my bell rung. We'll get into that. But
Oh, yeah.
Talking concussion here, and for some people that don't know, what is a concussion?
So a concussion, it's a blow to the head and trunk area. And it's just a rapid acceleration, deceleration of your body. The brain gets jolted back and forth. And at that point, it's just an energy crisis in the brain. And the brain has a hard time processing information from other parts of the body.
And what are just some symptoms that you should look for, maybe if you do have a concussion, or what comes with that?
Yeah, most common symptoms would be headache and dizziness. And you can also have fogginess, nausea, light sensitivity, noise sensitivity, things like that, as well as neck pain.
And are there different levels of a concussion? I know some people say they have a mild concussion or a strong one, but are there certain levels that go with a concussion?
Can be. I mean, a lot of it's just based on symptom severity. As far as imaging goes, imaging is just used to rule out a brain bleed, and so that would be much more severe. And I mean, you're looking more at potential death, things like that. So if you go to the emergency room, some red flags that you're looking for are like seizures, repeated vomiting, potentially severe neck pain, loss of consciousness, slurred speech, things like that. And then you'd want to go to the emergency room and make sure you're not having a brain bleed.
And should, even if you get any of the smaller symptoms, should you go to the ER or a doctor, or when should you do that?
Yeah, so pretty much you're just going to monitor your symptoms for the next couple of hours. Common symptoms, like I talked about, are headache and dizziness and confusion, things like that. But if you're starting to have more of those red flags, again, severe neck pain, restricted neck movement, vomiting, slurred speech, if you're not recognizing people around you, then those would be signs where you need to go and get checked out a little bit more in depth. At that point, I'd go to the emergency room.
Can it just take one concussion to give you like permanent brain damage, or is that multiple concussions?
Yeah, usually it's going to be multiple. I mean, it does depend on the severity of it, but for the most part, it's more of repeated blows that you're not getting healed from. So if you have a concussion and you just ignore it and you still have headaches and dizziness, and then you continue to either play or just go about life and you get another concussion, same thing, if you don't let it heal properly and you get another concussion, that's when you're really going to be at risk for long-term effects. And so that's why it's so important to recognize concussion and allow yourself to heal. As long as you heal in between concussions, it's been shown that repeated concussions don't necessarily have an effect as long as you're healing in between those concussions.
And is it easier after your first concussion to get another one?
I don't believe so. I don't believe that there's really any research showing that necessarily. Again, as long as you heal in between those concussions.
Okay. I know in the last, I think, 10, 15 years, concussions have really come to the forefront of sports, and especially in sports. I mean, we had a movie come out about it and everything like that. But just how has concussion prevention and awareness evolved over the last 10, 15 years? Because like I said at the beginning, I played from 2002 to 2006, and you feel like you got your bell rung, you may be a little woozy, but you're right back out there, and nobody's nonetheless thinking that you're fine, except unless if you do get lit up and then you're just out of it, then thinking maybe it's a concussion. But just how has that evolved over the last 10, 15 years?
Yeah, I mean, there's been tons of research coming out, like you said, those past 10 to 15 years talking about concussion and looking more at the effects of it. I think one thing is just preventing it by trying to have good techniques for your sports. So, I mean, not just football, but football is huge as far as how your tackling mechanics are. And then as far as research goes, it's more of the treatment and how to heal from that concussion, and looking more at therapy with either treatment for your neck, treatment for your eye function, or inner ear function, things like that.
And I've seen, especially in football, but we'll stick with that for a moment, they're going out, new helmets, things like that. Has the new helmet technology helped keep concussions down, or is that just maybe like a placebo effect where it looks newer, maybe it's going to help us out?
That's a great question. I believe it's a combination of having the helmet plus your awareness of it a lot more. And again, hopefully practicing good techniques with your tackling, your form, strength and conditioning, things like that. So I believe it's helped some, but probably a combination of a lot of different parts.
If you were to get a concussion, we hear him talk about concussion protocol, especially in the NFL. What would a protocol be for, say, a high school athlete that they don't have access to, a trauma doctor on the sidelines, anything like that? They just have their coaches and their family.
Yeah, so you're going to be basically taking them away from their sport if you suspect that concussion, and the students go to rest for the next 24 to 48 hours. And just monitor their symptoms. Hopefully with resting, their symptoms will calm down. But that's when you're going to be watching for those worsening symptoms, red flags, things like that. And then as far as concussion protocol goes, really we follow what is considered the Berlin guidelines. So that's in our state practice act for physical therapy. Like around 2016, 2017, they developed a statement in Berlin, just like a huge international conference. And I think that's what most professional sports, college sports all follow. So essentially, it's 6 phases. Phase 1 is you want to be able to get to your normal daily activities, schoolwork, things like that without any symptoms. So to get there, it's just starting with rest and then just controlled movement, hopefully rehab, things like that. And once you can do all that, then you should go to the next phase, which is low activity or light activity, light exercise, and then the next phase is moderate. Next phase is more severe intensity exercise, and then eventually going back to your practice and games.
And with that, is it possible that, say, you have 2 people have the same type, I guess, of concussion, but their recovery time be different?
Yeah, absolutely. Concussions affect everybody differently. Sometimes it could look not super intense, but you might have severe symptoms, whereas the other way around, you get a big head injury from a sport, either a ball hits you or, again, a tackle, and it looks really bad, and then you may not have as severe symptoms. And it could vary from same person, just different injuries down the road. It's just all very different with your symptoms.
Is there any way that you could help prevent having a concussion other than the right headwear or anything like that? Is there anything that you can do to your body, like eating the right things or working out, things like that? Is there any way that you could help prevent it?
I think it's still being researched. I don't know if there's really anything definitive. Do know that they're looking at like neck strength as well. Yeah, that's still a part that's being looked at more and more. But I would definitely think that any type of upper body strengthening, neck strengthening that you can do on your strength and conditioning program would be beneficial.
Okay. Also, we talk about football, and I know soccer as well. That your head's being used a lot, headers and collisions, things like that. But you can get a concussion in pretty much any sport, correct?
Yep. Yeah, you can get a concussion in any sport. You don't have to get necessarily hit in the head. It can be a blow to the body, and your head gets moved back and forth quickly. But yeah, it can be in any sport.
Does your knowledge of concussions make you view sports differently than maybe the casual fan?
That's a great question. I'm not really sure. I've never really thought about it like that. I guess a little bit, and I just know what the long-term effects of concussions are, and just the importance of recognizing the symptoms and the signs of that. And sometimes it's important to just take a step back and monitor your symptoms and make sure you heal properly so you can play up to your capacity.
Yeah, I know here, us in the sports media field, we're always watching broadcasts thinking, oh, he could do this right, I don't know if you're watching things, a collision, like, hey, that could be a concussion or that could be like a head trauma or something like that, pointing things out from your field.
Yeah, there's some of that.
Yeah. Are you a sports fan other than just taking care of these kids down at Knox Community?
Yeah, I'm a big sports fan. Grew up in Cleveland area, so I like Cleveland sports, and then went to Ohio State, so I like the Buckeyes.
Okay. All right, very good. Is there anything else that people should know, even especially maybe coaches or parents, about just concussions protocol, things like that maybe they don't know as of yet?
I think just it's important to just recognize what you're feeling and again, just take a step back. Don't try to plow through it and think that you're going to just kind of fight through it like other injuries. It's important just to take a step back, recognize what you have, and then, again, concussion protocol is going through a series of phases and progressively adding a little bit more and more intensity to that workout routine and making sure that you are back to normal before you get back to practicing games.
And are you going to be on any of the fields this year, or is it something where the paramedics will be bringing? I know we have a lot of Knox-Morrow teams down there playing football and other things. Do you guys go to the fields, or is it just something that if something were to happen, the transporters and the ambulances that they have there bring them to you?
Yeah, so we do have, I'm not personally on the field, we do have athletic trainers in a few of the schools in the area. So we have athletic trainers at Danville, Centerburg, East Knox, Utica, and Fredericktown. So they'll be on the field and they can assess the student athletes. So if they recognize a concussion and they think that they need therapy, then they'll send them our way. Other times, if they go to the emergency room, sometimes we'll get referrals from the emergency room at KCH, and then we'll see them in the next couple of days, or if they saw their primary doctor, we'll get a referral from them.
All right. Well, Mark, I really appreciate the time. And for you folks, this is the first of 4 talks we're going to have with different professionals at Knox Community Hospital. But I do appreciate the time, and I really thank you for this conversation, because now I know more about concussions. I hope our fans, our athletes, and our parents do know a little bit more, and that can help them see what happens with a concussion. So I thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thanks, Mark. That was Mark Connell, the Doctor of Physical Therapy at Knox Community Hospital. That was very, very informative for everybody. Like I said, back in the early 2000s, there really wasn't much for concussion protocol. There was one time we had our quarterback got hit pretty hard, and he was out of it. He came out of the game. But there's other times where even we got hit. We got a little woozy for a second, came back out there. You never know. We might have had a concussion, and that might happen still with players around this area and around the world. But hopefully how concussion awareness, how prevention, how the research has come, is going to help out, especially in the future, because we've seen with some NFL players, there are long-term effects. It could lead to some crazy things. So hopefully this is the start of some good things, especially concussion-wise, and we can just hope that the manufacturers of helmets and padding and stuff can just continue to help prevent that. Like I said, that's the first of 4 talks we'll have with some professionals down at Knox Community Hospital. We'll have different aspects of that field. First the concussion, and we'll go on some other things. But getting back to some of the sports stuff, it is now time to welcome in a good friend of the show, a man that's going to be leading his Golden Knights up to Findlay for a 2-day camp, and that is our good friend Blade Tackett of Norhtmor. How you doing, buddy? Did you have a good Father's Day with your kids?
Yeah, it was the best, man. Played a little golf in the morning, played some more golf in the afternoon, hung out with the boys. Yeah, it was a great day.
Did they take you out somewhere nice to eat, or did the wife make you a nice meal?
Oh, man. I think I ended up cooking dinner last night, to be honest. It's one of my guilty pleasures, I guess.
Hey, it's Father's Day. If you like to do what you like to do, that's fine.
Hey, she's in basketball camp, though, this week, so it's frozen pizza night for sure for us and the boys.
Yeah, there you go. Speaking of basketball camps, you're giving me the opportunity. I don't know why you're doing this, but you're allowing me to sit on the bench with the varsity JV and freshmen up here at Findlay. We'll get into that more in a little bit, but summer basketball. We just get done with the final spring sports of the year, and we're already into next season's preparations. But how has summer basketball gone first for the Golden Knights?
Yeah, it's truly been a great summer. We kind of have an approach that may be a little bit different than other people, but we kind of stay away from the first week of June because it's graduation week for us, because we go a little bit later than most schools. And then for about 2.5 weeks, we squeeze about as many days of basketball in as we can, usually anywhere from 8 to 10. And, now they even allow 15, but I doubt we ever use that as a basketball program. So, we're capping it off with Findlay tomorrow. And prior to that, the last 2 weeks we've had 6 days where it's been mostly scrimmages and open gyms and one shootout at the NAS. And it's gone great. We've got a lot of people coming back. And so this summer is particularly important for us because we got about 3 or 4 guys trying to battle for, a couple open spots from last year's team. And, they're doing a great job with that. We're having a lot of fun. We're competing really well. So looking forward to capping off summer basketball at Findlay next 2 days, but so far it's been great.
And I'm looking forward to getting up at 6 a.m. tomorrow so I can catch the bus with you guys. But in all seriousness, I've gone on trips with you guys to Wittenberg for that shootout down there in Springfield, but this seems like this is a whole different monster up here at Findlay. Explain to me and the folks out there in OH.Report land what is going to go on the next 2 days and what am I getting myself into?
Yeah, it's a really great time. Our kids love to go. There's a lot of great camps around the state of Ohio. When I played, Coach Shelton's always been an Eastern Ohio person, and a lot of the local schools actually are. But I got to Norhtmor with Coach Ruth. He started a tradition of going to Findlay, and it's really, we're probably not going to get out of it, to be honest, because it's as soon as the year's over. About 2 weeks later, kids are asking me, where's Findlay camp forms, what day it is, and, they get pretty excited. So it's a pretty cool tradition for us. We wake up, we leave at 7. It's about an hour drive, if that. We check in, and I think that what the kids love it the most is they give us keys. We go walk to the dorms. They get 2 days to live in a college dorm, eat at a college cafeteria. So, I don't even know if they really get excited for the basketball, but it's just the fact of being on a college campus and away from, the parents for about a day and a half. And, the good part for us coaches is we play a lot of basketball. It's, if I recall, it's about 16-minute halves, running clock, They have officials. There's a halftime, so it's pretty close to game. Like, I imagine they'll adjust the free throw rules to mimic the new rule in high school. Yeah, we play a lot of great teams. Ottawa Glandorf is going to be there. I think they're bringing 2 teams. Winford, the local school, I talked to Winford's JV coach yesterday. They'll be there as well. I imagine we'll run into those guys. I could honestly pull up a list of schools. I think there's about 25 high schools. We take freshmen. We'll take freshman JV varsity tomorrow, and our 8th grade team. Trying to take 7th grade team this year. Yeah, yep. 8th grade's going. They got 12 kids. They're really looking forward to it. We got a super competitive 8th grade team, so I think they'll have a lot of fun. Almost got a 7th grade team there, but it just didn't work out. So, it's a lot of basketball in a day and a half. Day 2 is going to be pretty tough. Kids are sore. Games are long. Then you get the tournament, and we've made a run, in the past. There's really like 3 tiers. So we kind of give Coach Ernst up there, what tier do we want to be in, 1, 2, or 3? We usually fit in around the 2 range. That's basically, Division 3 schools, good D4 schools. We get a lot of great games in. Kids get exhausted, and, they get away from home for a couple of days. It's a lot of fun.
And it's not just at the college there in Findlay. It's around the city, right? There's high schools that help you let teams participate there as well.
Yeah, Findlay High School opens up their doors, and then their junior high does as well, which is just a quick, you could walk there if you wanted. And then a couple local churches too, if need be. I think we'll probably play offside a little bit, just because I believe, from what I understood, the camp was so large this time around that they're having another one next week that wasn't on the original schedule. Wow. So I imagine, we'll play offside a little bit. Otherwise, it's just that the Kohler Center has, off the top of my head, I want to say five gyms, and then they play in their main gym. They split that into 2. Then we go to Findlay High School, a couple local churches, and the junior high.
And what are you expecting from me the next 2 days here? I mean, I'm giving you all my resources on very little basketball knowledge, but I'm available for whatever you want me to do, other than waterboarding that already.
The way I look at it is you threw me into that color commentating role, a couple times, and I still don't know what I'm doing when I get into those roles. So if you're on the varsity bench, you'd coach it. Calling timeouts, you're running the huddles. I'll give you our play calls if you want our play calls. We do run a little bit of a looser ship. Some of the guys know like our basic sets, but we really in the summer just focus on our guys learning how to, to play motion offense, really just continuity, transition. We don't call baseline out of bounds. We don't call sideline out of bounds. We call very limited sets. If we just in a situation where we need a bucket late in the quarter or something. So, if you're with us, bud, Coach Maddox and I are probably going to put our feet up and let you get to work.
Can be a lot of flex cuts going on there, because that's the only thing I know from my high school days. There's a lot of 4 low going on. Get a little cut off that screen, back reverse layup, everything like that. I am looking forward to it. We're going to I'm going to do an on the road, so we'll have constant updates from the Findlay camp and see how the Golden Knights, all 4 teams, are doing up there. Participation-wise, Blade, how's that going this year? Especially, you have the varsity players, some of them are golfing, recovering from injuries, playing baseball, things like that. But in the lowers, the freshman JV teams, even like the 8th grade teams, how is participation going so far this summer?
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky. Our guys are pretty committed over the summer, and I think it's because, I tell them right away, we're going to have 8 days of contact, amongst 2.5 weeks, and that's it. We got, and I think a lot of coaches would agree, it's even different from when I played. When I played, it was June was strictly for basketball almost, and then we played some baseball for the school, and I would venture to guess that not many people are even doing baseball for the school anymore, because kids are doing travel baseball and paying a lot of money to be a part of those. And so, the school doesn't really need to host one. From the basketball perspective, you got, football, although Scott and I work together pretty great. We never schedule anything that conflicts. We are flexible with our youth basketball schedule too. It's our participation has been good. I don't get real bent out of shape about it. Give me 6 or 7 varsity guys, and we'll play with who we have, and we've done that. We have about 9 guys that we're taking to Findlay, and we haven't had all 9 of them there yet together for our first 6 days of basketball this summer. We've had about 4 or 5 guys that haven't missed. But, we got guys playing baseball and working and doing other things, and, that's okay. I don't get too bent out of shape about it. I don't lose sleep over it. Being there definitely helps and benefits you. But if you can't make it, we survive. As long as our kids are lifting and, working on individual skill sets, that's kind of where I hang my hat on, or we hang our hat on, so I'm good with all that. JV's been about the same. A lot of kids playing baseball. 6 or 7 guys, consistently. Haven't had everyone there yet, but we'll have all but one at Findlay. Freshman numbers have been great. Freshman kids love basketball. So that's our biggest class we're taking to Findlay. It's like our second biggest, I'd say. We're taking 10 or 11. And then our 8th grade class is big too, and they're super committed. We got about 12 or 13 kids going there. We got a 7th grade coach that has already been practicing with them, throughout June. When it's all said and done, our 8th grade might have more contact days in than anyone else. And I know they had a good season last year, lost in the championship at the KMAC, so it's pretty cool to see a group of kids that are pretty hungry like that to get better. And I know they're really looking forward to Findlay camp. So, overall, I always get surprised, because a lot of times when we start the summer, I always think, man, this might be the year where we're kind of struggling to get kids at stuff. And then we show up for an 11 o'clock practice on the first day, and there's 32 kids in the gym. And, it just reminds me that we're pretty lucky. We get very good commitment. I can't complain. And I know for a fact, Travis, you probably know this too. I don't know who all you talk to, but most coaches would tell you participation for June basketball is down in general, and it's tougher to get kids at stuff. And, it's just the way it's going to be. I mean, you're not going to get a kid who's, paying a lot of money to play travel baseball, and that's okay, They want to get better baseball. They want to travel. It's a lot like vacation setting where they get to play. Grant, of course, we know Grant. He's got a little bit of a shoulder thing that bothers him. So, he's going to his senior year. We don't really want to risk that. He'll be going with us to Findlay, but he's not going to play. We got seniors that are starting to work, and think about what they're going to do after graduation next year, so that they got to pay for gas or insurance, So it's tough. There's a lot of different things going on. I'm lucky in the sense that we've everything we had on the schedule, we've been able to attend. Let me say it that way. Sometimes I'd like a couple more guys, but I've been very happy with what we've had and the way the guys have performed so far.
And I think that's the right way to go with it. Some people like playing just one sport all year round, but it's also good to allow these kids to play multiple sports, do what they need to do, especially in the summer, because it won't. I personally think it won't burn them out that way, and they can come, refreshed by the time basketball season starts and want to play. But then there are some others that do want to play, and if they can come to these camps And I just think that's the way that it should be run. And kudos to you for doing that, because it seems like it's been working since you and even Coach Ruth have been there. That they want to come here. It doesn't seem like they're forced to, and it's paid off.
Yeah, I mean, it's all great points. I'll reiterate again how lucky I'm here because, our head football coach, myself, our head baseball coach, we're all very close and very great friends, and we share athletes. And we know that if we want all three of our programs to be successful, that includes track and stuff too. And I'm very close with those guys as well. But the majority of the athletes that we share are football and baseball players and wrestlers. And we all work together, seemingly because, a school like Norhtmor, where we're small Division III or big D4, whatever we are with our student body, we need our best athletes playing all of our sports. And so, I don't want to wear on kids and say you have to be at basketball stuff when they may want to go football or baseball, and because I want those kids in the winter, and I think the rest of our coaches realize that as well, and our ability to work together helps, and it's not like that at every school, and we're super lucky that we all have pretty good relationships here and have that kind of perspective.
And honestly, I think that should be the way across every school, that they should. If you're able to work with the other coaches, it's just going to go a lot smoother than I just want these kids to myself, and that's just that's selfish in that way. But let the kids kind of decide how they want to play their summer, things like that. Back to basketball though. I kind of know this answer because I've been to a couple practices and I went to the NAS with you over the weekend, but has anyone emerged from these camps that you think, hey, they could be the fourth or fifth guy on this varsity squad, or maybe somebody that can come off the bench and give you quality minutes?
Yeah. I mean, I'll go through the whole list. I mean, we have, Jackson and Grant, Hunter, and Drew coming back as starters. Max was our other starter. When Max was injured, Bryson Kern started. He's been a couple practices, been to Buckeye Valley and Bucyrus. He's had some very good scrimmages, looked very good, He's a hustle guy, he's an offensive rebounding guy, he's a very good finisher, he's a very good free throw shooter, too, and I think that's one of his underrated assets that's going to help us next year, because he'll get some boards and draw some fouls. Then we've the two sophomores that played JV last year. They started playing JV at the end of freshman year, played full-time JV last year. Varsity football players, varsity track runners, they're itching to play varsity basketball, and they're going to be varsity basketball players. AJ Bauer and Bo Landon really had a great summer.
Yeah.
You were sitting on the bench with Dalton. I think AJ made like 8 threes, probably had 25 to 30 points in the 30. Yeah. Yeah, he knows, he's a very self-aware kid. He knew that if he wanted to play with us, before he was a senior, he's going to have to play good defense. And kids probably led us in steals this summer. He's been very good defensively, very good rebounding. And then he shot the ball well, and he's starting to develop an ability to drive too. And he's very committed in the weight room. He's a very good athlete, and if he can develop an ability to drive too, that's going to be great. But just to have another outstanding shooter on the floor, with our guards already that can shoot, the sky's the limit really for us looking at him. Bo and Bryson Kearns and Drew Hammond, they're all very similar. He's a great offensive rebounder, great finisher. His 4x4 team plays fourth at state. He was the anchor of that. He's lightning fast, and he can go from 0 to really fast in a short amount of time. So it's really fun to just get a rebound and throw it to him down the full court, for a layup this summer when he gets out and runs, because not many people are as fast as him. Got to give credit to, Logan Caudill too.
Yep.
He was a junior last year that played JV. He's worked his tail off in the weight room this spring. He's put a lot of time in the gym over the years. He's I had a lot of fun this summer for basketball. Been playing a ton. You know, he's gonna get some time for us too next year. We're also bringing back Isaac Black, you know, who was about 6th or 7th man last year for us, and you know, he's had a good summer as well. So, you know, it's a good problem to have. We got a lot of talent, Travis, and so it's been fun this summer to kind of mix our lineups and see what works. Because even with the 4 starters we have coming back, you know, these kids want to compete, want to start, and so they're all teammates that we have pretty good chemistry. But I think everyone knows that we're still fighting for spots, which is, you know, kind of bizarre with how our season ended, and you know, we ended on such a good note. But I think anyone will tell you, I probably said this in the past, probably sound like a broken record, but competition is what makes a team better, and we've got a lot of it right now, and that's a lot of fun.
And also the want to not get a silver medal but a gold medal at the district championship game if you guys are able to make it back too. That helps out as well, because you have like you said, you have a stacked squad. You only lose 2 players, one of them a starter in Max Lauer, but you have a lot of guys that, as you just said, could come and help fill in. So this should set up for not only, you know, hey, maybe you make a run tomorrow, get some momentum, but this should set up well for you guys once we get to November and everything else. One more thing, since I am Travis Big League Berardi, and I have to mention West Virginia at least once every show. Have you heard about the Huggins situation?
Yeah, but I saw. I didn't read up on it too much. You know, I just saw a couple tweets. Yeah, you know, I don't want to comment. You can probably fill me in on more. I just saw that he resigned.
Yeah,
there you go.
He got pulled over for a DUI in Pittsburgh, coming back from a camp. He had a bunch of empty Miller Lite cans in a bag in the back of the car. He blew a .251, which is probably kills some animals if they had that much alcohol. But that, along with the comments he said about Xavier a couple months ago, that was the last straw, and he had to resign. But the big thing is, to me, is they recruited a bunch of transfer portal players and some other good players that are still there. They were pretty much getting it for this is the year for Hugs, because he's probably done after this season. And my question to you as a coach, right now it's seeming like at least the core of the players are not going to get into the transfer portal, because starting from yesterday they have 30 days to announce if they're going to get into the portal. But what would you do if you're an AD in that situation? Because you are also an AD in a high school, but would you keep internally with your head coaches to try and keep these players? Because these assistant coaches are the ones that helped recruit these kids. They've worked with them already. They're going through camps right now. They're actually going to Italy to play at the end of the month. What would you do there? Would you try and go after somebody? It's June. There's probably not a lot of big-name coaches anyway, but what would you do in this situation?
Yeah, I think I'd rely heavily on the rest of our staff. You know, God forbid, you know, hopefully I can coach for a long time, but if something stopped me from doing it, you know, the kind of relationship that our assistant Maddox has with our guys, and it's on a very, very much smaller scale. But I would say a lot of times players get more connected to an assistant coach. I would say it's almost how it was when I was with Zach, you know, because I could be a little bit more of a player's coach, and you know, the assistants can coach or can focus on those kinds of things. So I would go to the staff and rely heavily on them, and they probably have a good pulse on the people that they believe they could keep and the ones that were coming for Coach Hug. So, you know, I think you probably make a list. You go through all of the people you thought you were going to get. You rank them in order of who love West Virginia, who love these assistant coaches, and who love Coach Huggins, and you try to keep as many of those kids as possible, because, you know, I don't know a ton about college basketball, but you and I, it doesn't take a genius to know that you want the best players in the country, and so if you got some big-time top recruits that are just the best players around, you got to do whatever you can to keep those guys.
And on the other hand, if these players stay, could this be something that rallies them around to maybe have a great season for maybe Coach? Like, you know, we came here to play for him. We knew it was probably going to be his last year, and let's still go through with it to honor the stuff that he did not the bad things that he did off the court, but what he was able to do to these players. I know there's so many alumni that says like he helped me out, he helped my family out. He does a fish fry every year for the Norhtmor Ray Huggins Foundation, which is for cancer research, everything like that. But I know it's, especially in these days, one or two bad things pretty much dirties the rest of your resume for everything else you did. But could this also round these players up and help them maybe make this a special year for him?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, regardless of what happened with him in the end, I don't. I think history will judge him for the type of coach he was, and I think like you said, his former players and the people he works with are really going to tell us who he is. And I've never met him personally, but been to Eastern Ohio, seen Larry Huggins in action. He's close with a lot of my high school coaches' friends, and we saw him both at the state tournament this year. They were watching Centerville pick Central game, so I think they can rally and still have a good year. A lot of times adversity does breed that kind of stuff. That kind of external motivation, I think, is a real thing in athletics. So I think the person that they find to replace him is important. But even though he's resigning, I don't think he's ever going to be gone from the program. I think he's going to have some kind of impact this year. I would venture to guess, he would stay on in some capacity just to help, maybe sustain or obtain some of these players and help with the transition, and that kind of thing. And, I hope at the end of the day he's not judged for his final actions. If we were all judged on our worst actions, anyone can make any kind of assumptions about all of us. We've said things, done things, made mistakes. So, unfortunately for him, he's in a role where you don't get many slip-ups. He's a public figure. He's a famous guy. He's a Hall of Famer. So it's weird. It was weird it all happened because I was just reading a book called A Coaching Life, where one of the coaches in there started with him at Eastern Ohio, where they were running the camp with his brother. And then what was the first? It's slipping me now. I'm not even going to think about it. We're the first NAIA that they coached at in Ohio. Whatever, made him a national power in 2 years. And then Huggins went to Florida, and this guy went to Triway. And it was just
right. It was
interesting
Triway,
how it all happened, because I literally just read about his beginnings with one of his best friends, and then I saw a tweet a couple minutes later, and I thought it was one of those gag accounts. So, that's one of those where you have to do a little research, make sure that's not a false report or whatever. You never know when you're on Twitter what's a fake account, what's not. But back to your original question, I'm rambling. Yes, I think the players can find motivation in this and rally around it and still have, still make a year out of this year.
Yeah, and I think he should have resigned after everything that happened, but I just hope it doesn't tarnish everything else good that he has done.
Sure.
But I think that'll wrap it up. I'm going to let you go, Blade, because I'm going to see you in about 14 hours when we get on the bus to Findlay. But I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, as always, Coach Berardi.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, sir. I'll see you
Love
tomorrow.
that graphic.
Right? It's AI. Look at that. That's
Nice.
Golden Knights slam dunking. You
All
just
right.
search that. It's crazy what the computers can do now. Tell the boys I said hello. No fire trucks, no cops going by this time, so that's a good thing.
Yep. All right, buddy. We'll see you.
See ya. Blade Tackett, head coach of the district runner-up in Division IV Central District, the Golden Knights. We're just about to wrap things up here, but before we go, spring sports over the past weekend wrapped up with the state baseball championships. We had state track, we had state softball. It's been a busy couple of weeks for us here at the OH.Report, but it's been really good, and we have some highlights there. I was at state softball for all 4 state championship games, had some great games, finishing off with Strasburg knocking off Hopewell Loudon in a battle of state top 5 teams. But then we had somebody like this, 4 state records for Juliet the Great, getting state runner-up for the team by herself. Just a crazy feat that the guy that they named the track after only did years before. Ontario softball, the run they had, the regionals, was awesome. Ontario baseball, going from 2 games under 500 to a state championship game. And if a couple things go their way, they might be state champs. But that was what a heck of a ride for them. Waynedale as well, going back-to-back after a kind of a slow start to the season, just completely handled Harrison Central in the state championship game. All of the track state champs, top 5, top 10 finishers. Hayden Gray did a great job down there, and as you see his show as well on the right track. We even had, we had football too. I don't know if this is the end of the football season or kicking off the next football season, but we had the NCO FCA Football Classic at Clear Fork a couple weeks, what was it, last week? I don't know. These days are just gelling together because of how much we've been able to do the last couple of weeks. And there's me. The roundup with me, Big League. We'll be back for another season. I do want to thank all you fans for voting out there, all the shout-outs and everything with that. But shout-outs to all of our teams that were able to do some things this year, all the athletes on the track, all of the softball teams that are able to make runs. Hillsdale went to a district championship game as well. Baseball side, we had some great teams. Upper Sandusky playing in a district championship game as well, and things like that. Dan Gorbett getting 600 victories. Just I could go on, but it's been a great spring season, and congratulations to everybody here for what they were able to do. And that was probably one of the best plays I've seen all season. Peyton Dugan throwing a runner out at the plate. That ended up keeping the game tied. Ontario would win that semifinal 2-1. So a lot of great moments, a lot of great memories, a lot of great players right here shown to you on the OH Report. Final thing we're going to do before we wrap things up, Madeline Zazzuto has been furiously researching over the last couple of hours about some community events. It was funny on our rundown. We had it right underneath Knox Community Hospital, and it says in the community. Knox Community Hospital is always in the community, for the community, KCH. Anyway, she was able to find 3 events that are coming up in the next few weeks. So without further ado, Madeline, you're going to hear her voice. What do we have in the schedule?
So first off, on Sunday, starting from Sunday, July 16th through the 22nd, there is the Soapbox Derby in Akron, Ohio. It's the 85th year doing it. If you don't know what it is, it's basically where you create soapbox-like cars and you race. You start making your cars on the 16th, and you have all week to trial run them, and then there's a prelim before the championship on that Saturday, the 22nd. Registration is still going on. You have to be between 7 and 20 years old to do so. And then throughout the week, just in Akron, there's like different events going on, like something called Inclusion Day, Senior Day. There's a STEM summer program that goes on the entire week. And small businesses and corporations can get together and race as like teams. So there's that first event. And then there is a adult running camp that is a 12-hour endurance race. If you're in the mood to run for 12 hours straight, It's at Camp New Hop in Perrysville. It starts at 5:30 a.m. and ends at 5:30 p.m. on Saturday, July 29th. It's a 3-mile loop trail, and runners can go for as long as they like. If they want to go for the full 12 hours, they can. There's also like an option to do 4 hours or 6 hours. I don't know. There's Travis. We tried to get Travis to come on.
Why am I on a female body, Adam?
Because it's 2023 and those things don't matter. Just be happy that you're on there.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that stuff another time. But continue, Madeline.
I asked Travis if he would be able to do any of them, but he said that he is unfortunately busy, so he will not be
I got a
down
thing.
there.
I got a thing that day. Don't
Yeah,
worry
you
about
have a thing that day,
Yeah.
of course. But if you want to put yourself through running for 12 hours straight or for 4 or 6 hours straight, you can get tickets at Eventbrite. And then finally, there is micro wrestling in Mansfield on July 6th from 8 to 10 p.m. If you don't know what micro wrestling is, it's a WWE type event where the entire cast is under 5 feet tall. It is put on by Micro Wrestling Federation, and it's an all ages event. And you can find tickets just at Micro Wrestling Federation's website. And that concludes all of the events that I found around Mansfield. And yeah.
And I've heard some ramblings that our own former OH reporter, Storm Blunchley, will be at Micro Wrestling. Maybe we'll try and get him a couple Snapchat videos and report on how things go. But, yeah, I will not be running for hours just for fun. I did a Warrior Dash up here before I even moved up to the Mansfield area. There was a Warrior Dash at the old Clear Fork Resort. Brian actually did it as well when he worked at the other place. That was fun, but it was running up the ski lift hill, which was about 2 miles uphill. I could not do anything like that. The Soapbox Derby would be fun down actually 2 streets over here in Mansfield. That's a big event down here every year, and the winners get to go to Akron for the national one. And that track up in Akron is crazy. It's like it's designed to be like an actual racing drag strip, but with the hill for the soapbox cars, and that's fun as well. So there are some fun things around North Central Ohio, even though high school sports are out with their main things. We'll have all the summer league, whatnot. Oh my goodness, that's just okay. Anyway, that's how we're going to wrap things up today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this show. I look like Mario on there. I actually got called Luigi during the Hillsdale alumni game wearing my Bishop Donahue stuff.
I loved that.
That was from Sophie Goon, sister of Molly Goon, for the second consecutive year, saying, "You look like Luigi." I am Italian. I do wear green, so I guess that's kind of I don't know. I like
know
Mario.
it was more
the Mario. Adam, what did you think of the Super Mario movie?
I haven't seen it yet. You can't get away from this. I'm going back to where you were commented as Luigi. It was basically because you were wiggling your bat so much that you kind of reminded them of Luigi from Mario 2. The legs always just go. There was just so much motion going on with you. So that's where I think the Luigi came from. So I've only had the Mario movie on in the background. The music sounded good.
It wasn't bad. The music, the soundtrack is amazing because they incorporated each of the level songs with it. The storyline, it was okay. I guess you could say it was cute for the kids and everything like that. It was all right. I mean, it wasn't anything great. They actually, in the movie, they do a commercial, and they give you the website and the number to call. You call the number, it's actually them picking up, like it's a voicemail type deal. And you go to the website, and they actually have a Mario Brothers website. So they really went all in on it. That was a little cool aspect. But, I mean, it's an okay movie. It's great for kids. The soundtrack, like you said, it's a nostalgia factor, things like that. And, I mean, hey, Chris Pratt did all right playing Mario and all the other high-end characters. Jack Black playing Bowser was hilarious.
I did catch some of that, and I was thoroughly confused because I kept seeing the song Peaches trending. And the song Peaches I know should not be trending in 2023 and definitely should not be up for any kind of awards.
From Presidents of the United States, Peaches?
Yeah, no, that ain't the one.
Okay.
I'll have to sing it to you off the
air. Just yeah. There are kids watching.
I'm a good singer. So, but yeah, looked good. So I'm just, you know what? I am ready to get on out of here and enjoy some of this wonderful weather.
I'm going to hit one of those green tubes and get out of here as well. I got to get ready for Findlay, and then I'm going on a boat, so I won't be here next week, to the chagrin of everybody here in the OH Report.
Just
probably.
me?
Well, yeah.
It's just
I don't know.
me.
I don't know if we're going to have a show next week because Hayden is now on his new venture. Brian is off somewhere in the country, and I'm going to be in the middle of the ocean. So maybe not. Maybe if I have internet access, maybe I'll post a couple videos of where I'm going. This is my first ever cruise, so we'll see about that. But Adam, maybe you might be talking, switching
to
cameras,
myself?
have nobody on it, everything next
Love
week.
it. Lovely.
Yeah. Hey. But that's going to wrap it up. I'm going to get out of here. Getting kind of lonely over here. Battling Zazudo, OH Report analyst. Man, the things you can do with AI. Anyway, this has been the WV Report podcast with me, Travis Big League Berardi. I will see you in a couple of weeks, and like I said, stick with our Facebook, our YouTube. I'll have updates from the Finley camp. We'll have a couple other videos coming out this week, and then I will, I'll gloat as I'm on a cruise ship drinking free beverages and eating free food. But till then, I'll see you later.